Welcome to the captivating world of the Old West, where legends are made, stories of lawmen and outlaws intertwine. In this video, we dive into the compelling story of Bob Olinger, the ruthless lawman of the Old West. Best known as the last victim of the infamous Billy the Kid and a participant in the Lincoln County War. Robert Amaret Olinger, born circa 1850, began his journey from Ohio to Oklahoma with his family when he was a young boy. Upon reaching adulthood, he ventured further west to New Mexico. In 1876, Olinger was named Marshal of 7 Rivers in Lincoln County, New Mexico. Regrettably, his tenure in this role was short-lived, as suspicions of collusion with the gang led to him quickly being fired. This will become all too familiar to Olinger. His hobby of gambling and drinking led to him having such relationships. The first recorded death at the hands of Olinger was Juan Chavez, a Mexican who was a friend of Olinger's and had no prior history of violence. On that fateful day, at the Royal Saloon in 7 Rivers, as they entered a game of poker, Chavez accused Olinger of cheating. In a tense moment, Olinger rose from his seat and pointed the pistol at his friend's head. Another player then intervened by throwing a weapon at Chavez, resulting in a brutal gunfight. As the smoke cleared, Chavez lay motionless on the floor, a bullet lodged in his throat. Without regret, Olinger glanced at the fallen man and uttered the words, "It's okay, it's over," before confidently walking out of the facility. Olinger's second victim, John Hill, suffered a similar fate in a gambling-related incident. When Hill played poker at the Diamond Lil Casino and Saloon, Olinger won all of the man's money. Then, when Hill loudly announced that he'd been duped, alluding to Olinger's deceit, tensions escalated. When Hill left the facility that night, Olinger acted quickly, shooting him dead. These incidents reflect a dark chapter in Bob Olinger's life, where gambling and alcohol led to a tragic end. In February 1878, as the Lincoln County War erupted, Bob Olinger found himself deeply entrenched in the conflict, aligning with the 7 Rivers warriors. The spark that ignited the violence was the Dolan Murphy faction's court-ordered demand to seize John Tunstall's horses as collateral for an outstanding debt. When Tunstall staunchly refused to comply, Lincoln County Sheriff William Brady assembled a team to arrest him. In the group is Bob Olinger, a hired gunman for Dolan Murphy. However, instead of arresting Tunstall, Olinger participated in the fatal shooting of this man on February 18, 1878. Although many gunmen were involved in the murder, only James Dolan and Jacob Billy Matthews face accomplice charges. The consequences of Olinger's involvement in the Lincoln County War proved to be a grave mistake, said Billy the Kid, a staunch supporter of Tunstall. Billy swears, "I'll get every son of a bitch who helped to kill John if it's the last thing I do." The following year, Olinger found himself playing poker with a man named Bob Jones, which escalated into another gambling dispute. Knowing Olinger's notorious reputation, Jones wisely stayed away from any confrontation. However, Olinger saw an opportunity to exploit the situation when he discovered that Deputy Pierce Jones held a minor warrant against Bob Jones. Seizing the chance, Olinger joined the deputy, and together they arrived at Bob Jones' residence. Meanwhile, Jones diligently worked in the yard while his 3 children played, and his wife attended to household affairs in the kitchen. Without resistance, Bob politely requested the officer's permission to explain the situation to his wife, assuring him of his swift return after paying the fine. The understanding deputy agreed, allowing Bob to enter the house, passing by his shotgun resting on the porch. Although Bob Jones had no intention of reaching for the gun, Olinger ruthlessly pulled out his pistol and fired 3 times into Bob's back. As Bob writhed in pain and Deputy Pierce Jones was shocked, Olinger expressed his smug belief that he could somehow justify this blatant act of murder. Responding quickly, Deputy Jones charged Olinger, prompting Lincoln County authorities to issue an arrest warrant. Sheriff George Kimball arrested Olinger and brought him to Lincoln for trial in October 1879. However, to the disappointment of many, the case was dismissed without going to court for unknown reasons. Coincidentally, in the same month, Pat Garrett assumed the role of sheriff of Lincoln County. Surprisingly, Olinger was also appointed Garrett's deputy, much to Garrett's own disappointment. Aware of Olinger's violent tendencies, Garrett would soon bear witness to it firsthand. On one occasion, when they caught an armed Mexican fugitive hiding in a ditch, Garrett promised to secure the fugitive if he surrendered. However, the man cautiously approached and raised his hand in surrender. Olinger coldly drew his pistol, seemingly preparing to shoot. Only Garrett's intervention, standing between them and admonishing Olinger, saved the man's life. Garrett firmly stated, "Put it away, Bob, unless you want to try me." Since the reward for catching Billy the Kid entices Pat Garrett to pursue him, Olinger revels in the hope that he'll be able to be the one to end the notorious criminal's life. In December 1880, Pat Garrett successfully captured Billy the Kid, along with Dave Rudabaugh, Tom Pickett, and Bill Wilson. All brought them to Santa Fe, New Mexico. After Billy was convicted, he was taken to Lincoln to await the scheduled execution date of May 13, 1881. Olinger, along with several other men, was charged with escorting the Kid back to Lincoln. During the journey, Olinger takes every opportunity to taunt Billy. In response, Billy, always defiant, warned Olinger, "Be careful, Bob, I haven't been hanged yet." Despite Olinger's intention to get rid of the Kid on the way to Lincoln, the party arrived without incident. After being held in the county jail, Olinger continued to mock Billy, prompting Garrett to order him to stop. Olinger's cunning nature even goes so far as to place a bait pistol within Billy's reach on the table, luring him into action. However, Kid proved too shrewd to fall for such a plot. On April 28th, during Pat Garrett's absence from work, Billy the Kid was placed under the supervision of deputies James Bell and Olinger. While Olinger escorted several other prisoners to the nearby Worthy Hotel for their daily meals, Bell stayed with Kid in their room. Somehow, Billy secretly got a pistol and shot Bell dead. He then stole the 10-gauge double-barrel shotgun and waited for the deputy by the window in the room where he was being held. Hearing the gunshots, Olinger assumes that Bell killed Kid himself and begins to return across the street to investigate. Startled, he heard the prisoner say, "Hello, Bob." Looking up, Olinger faced Billy the Kid, armed and ready. That fateful moment became the last sight Olinger saw as Billy quickly shot, instantly ending Olinger's life. Finally, Bob Olinger was buried at Fort Stanton Cemetery, Lincoln County, New Mexico, USA. Swearing vengeance, Pat Garrett fulfilled his promise by shooting down notorious criminal Billy the Kid on July 14, 1881.